Hello, my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. And boy, oh boy, I have a number of plants that need some love and care and attention. And I realized specifically that I have been neglecting, well, maybe not neglecting, that's a strong word. I am, I guess, behind on care or need to care for many of the plants in the monstera genus. In particular, I think that like my monstera deliciosa, I have two of them. They both need some tender loving care because okay guys, I was scrolling Reddit as one does, and I saw the monstera deliciosa of my dreams. Holy moly. Not that I have room for this gorgeous of a plant. Suffice it to say, it inspired me. It rekindled a love for the plant in my soul. I've just grown really lax in my care of them, and I've kind of let them grow wild and disheveled and all of that. So today in particular, I would like to address this monstera deliciosa of mine that is simply not cutting it. It's not doing what I want it to do, but that's entirely my fault because I've given it no structure or instruction. Therefore, I figured a good place to start would be to repot it because I don't think I've repotted it in the last 2, maybe 3 years. And I think that it needs it because it's been drying out terribly quickly. It also probably needs a good prune. I think that it needs better stability, like a bamboo trellis or like some sort of something. So I'm gonna repot it here today now, and then later on in this video, if I have time, I may also address some of the other plants in my collection that like just need help. Actually, let me show you some of them right now while we're here, while we're talking. So Miss Monstera albo here suffered thrips, and so I had to chop up these leaves a lot, and in general she is just looking a little bit lackluster. Like still beautiful, also needs a water for sure. Which, by the way, this plant right here is my signal plant. If this plant starts curling in a little bit, my Calathea ornata, I know that all the rest of these plants generally pretty much need to be watered. I see that this needs to be watered, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this for sure needs to be watered. And then I like touch everything else. I'm like, yeah, y'all need to be watered. So I will do that probably later today, but not for this video. I need to focus on that situation. But I am trying to figure out what I want to do with this plant. Do I want to chop her up? I mean, that thought kind of terrifies me a little bit. I would give her more of a chance to start over because, like, you know, these leaves are going to be forever ruined, but they can be the start of a new plant. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I might do that this video. We shall see. And then out here, my Thai constellation has not given me new growth in a hot minute. And I think that it also might need a repot because I found that this plant tends to get root bound so quickly. And when it does, it just like doesn't grow anymore. My Monstera siltepecana is a scraggly mess. It literally looks so awful. I had it trailing down, but like all the leaves on top were dying. So I just wound it around the top of the pot somewhat haphazardly, not really expecting it to do anything, but at least I wouldn't be looking at barren leaves all day. But like, this looks so awful. And I'm pretty sure the problem, honestly, might just be that it wants to climb. And I've been trying to stubbornly grow it as a trailing plant the whole time I've had it, but it's never been happy with that. So I might need to make this climb, chop it down. I don't know. We'll see. I do already have some Monstera siltepecana cuttings out here, actually. So maybe I will just start with this and create a new plant because this is a couple of cuttings right here, which this needs to be refilled, by the way. And then up here in the attic, this is my like big mama Monstera, and she's just kind of tucked away in this corner. I don't think she's that happy. She also needs a repot. I've never ever repotted her in my life. I've been considering just propagating her, like chopping her up and giving cuttings away to friends and using the remaining cuttings to make my own monstera plant of my dreams. But I haven't fully committed to that yet. I don't really know. Oh, and over here, this is my monstera window leaf I basically never talk about. I recently pruned her because she put off a lot of runners. Honestly, she's looking okay. A little bit chaotic, but I don't mind it. It's okay. So yeah, as you just witnessed, most of the monstera in my collection just need help. The ones that don't, I think, are my Monstera Peru, because I recently did a plant makeover for that plant. So if you want to check that video out, I'll link it in the cards. And that one's looking incredible right now. I love it. And then my Monstera Dubia is doing like very medium. Like it's not really growing that well, but it's also like I don't think that there's not that much I can do about it, to be honest. It's already on a moss pole and like in an ideal spot with a grow light. So I'm like, if you live, you live. If you don't, ugh. Oh, another, actually, that was a completely genuine reaction. I forgot about this until just now because like it's been on my mind, but I forgot that I could do this for this video because it's like Monstera themed. Okay. And my prop box right over here, I have my Monstera esqueleto. Okay, I love this plant so much. We had a little bit of a thrips scare because I had thrips in my prop box where this was residing. But thankfully, this plant has not succumbed to thrips. It looked like it tried to put off a new leaf and it like rotted in the sheath. I don't know, could be because it's too high humidity, but regardless, I mean, look at this aerial root. It's so fuzzy. Who is she? Look at her. Okay, I got this in a plant trait from my good friend Natalie, and it's about time I did something with this plant because it's been in this medium since October, and I think it's beyond time for me to pot it up and put it up a pole, that sort of thing. So I may also do that for this video, again, if I have the time. But today specifically, I need to do this Monstera mama right here. So let's do that. I will say, also speaking of Monstera and all that, I went to Target and I got several new planters, which I'll show you in a moment. They had $20 variegated Monstera standeliana plants. And I was like, when I was getting into the hobby, those were like at least $100 a pop. The plant market has changed so much. I was honestly genuinely tempted to get one because that used to be one of my biggest wish list plants, but I decided against it because I'm trying to be more mindful with my plant purchases. So are we proud of me? Maybe, I don't know. But I did take a cute picture of it. It's right here. Anyway, I did get some pots while I was at Target. And okay, first of all, this one I just got for the aesthetic because it's adorable. And it was, oh, I don't know how much it was. Maybe $10. These pots were like pretty affordable, honestly. So this is a ceramic pot. It's checkered. It has a drainage hole. And I am very excited to use this on some sort of lucky plant. I don't know, who's it gonna be? And then this is more of like a basic, like it's, I think it's over 10 inches. And this was only $10, also has a drainage hole. And it looks ceramic, but it's just like a thick plastic. Honestly, I don't mind the look of it at all. It's really good. And it was $10 for a pot like this, that's this big. Like, that's a pretty good deal. I have a hard time finding big planters, and Target actually had a lot of really big planters for decent prices. Speaking of big planters for decent prices, oh, this is like a 16-inch pot for $30, and this is like actually like ceramic. I don't know if I'm gonna be using it for this video, but yeah, this is a really big planter that I also got from Target. I suspect that this Monstera will want to be in this planter. But I don't know, we'll see. Let's check out the root system and see what we're working with. Also, I have not been able to find my potting mat anywhere, which is inconvenient. So we're just going to repot on the bare floor and resign ourselves to sweeping up the soil mess. Sometimes it's just what you have to do. Let's look at this plant. It is so many of these leaves are so questionable. So let's check out the root system. Okay, I'm gonna get these stakes out first, which I'll most likely reuse. Oh boy. Oh, it's a lean with this plant. It's not good. All right, let's make a big mess. Oh, such a big mess. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, well, how are you, roots? It's certainly root bound. Thankfully, they're not rotted or anything, so like that's a good sign. Yeah, let's set this plant to the side. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. Okay. I should have thought through this maybe a little bit more. I have dirt all over my pants. This might be one of the most awkward repottings I have ever attempted, ever. I think I am gonna take a moment before I finish filling it in trim away any of the leaves that look very questionable, just so that it's easier to rearrange. So this leaf, super ragged. As for the next step, I have a lot of bamboo stakes and I have twine, and I'm gonna do my best to make it into something. I don't have, it would be nice if I had some short bamboo stakes so that then I could do like, you know, one of those, almost like a cross hatching thing and make a makeshift trellis, but I don't. I guess I could kind of try to cut one of these in half, but I don't know. I don't have the right tool for that. Like, or maybe it could if I weaken it enough. No, but I do have one smaller stake here. I don't know. I am verbally processing right now. So I suppose I could do one long stake. Hang on. I'm figuring something out. I feel like this is maybe a little bit chaotic, but it's okay. We're leaning in. Gonna be too long, unfortunately. But if I do this, that might be good enough. Okay, this might work. It would work best if I had another one to go this way, but I just don't have that on hand, at least not right now. Would zip ties work okay? At least to start? I don't know. I could finish off with twine. I don't know, we're gonna find out. I'll be the first to tell you that this is not made very well, but it's something. At least it's a start, and I can always, again, I might not even keep this monstera. I might like completely propagate and redo the other one and completely start over, but like, I just want to try this first, see if it works. It would work far better if I actually had a middle piece, like a second middle piece. We're gonna find out together. All right, so we're gonna take the twine again and use it to tie this monstera up. All right, so I've got like one really big piece in the middle here, which perhaps I should have tried to rearrange earlier, but alas. I'll tie that up first because it's like the dominant part. Okay. Next. Okay, I must admit that this makeshift trellis, say that 5 times fast. But yeah, this makeshift trellis worked a lot better than I thought that it would. Like it's remarkably stable. I mean, not perfect, but like it's working. And is this the monstera of my dreams yet? Absolutely not. It's so far from it, but it is a vast improvement on the former iteration of this plant, and hopefully it will be significantly happier now that it's potted up in an appropriately sized pot. I think part of the issue is that it has some scraggly growth and a lot of smaller leaves on the bottom that are, you know, juvenile. It's offset from a south-facing window, but it gets offset enough that maybe it's just not getting enough of what it needs. That's certainly a possibility. But I also, you know, I badly need to dust these leaves, and I also could fertilize this more often, be more on top of watering, all that sort of thing. So like, there are things I can do to improve the care, and in the long run, I haven't decided yet, but if I propagate the monstera that's upstairs in the attic, I might try to add the cuttings to this plant, or like I said before, create a brand new monstera. Hi, I haven't decided yet, so I'll keep you updated on that. I mean, I'm sure within the year I will sort out what I want to do specifically, but for now, this works. This was the most straightforward solution here, okay? I'm gonna go grab my notebook and we're gonna write down the things that I said that I was gonna do, potentially. I don't know if I can get to all of them for this video, but for this big monstera pampering video, I wanna make sure I don't miss anything. All right, very quickly, I'm going to write down everything before I forget it so that when we revisit this list, hopefully kind of gradually over the next week or so. Hi. He loves to be the center of attention. Goodness, Alphonse, you're so funny. Okay, if you wanted to make a bingo card for my channel, for the videos on my channel, I think Alphonse climbing all over me is one of them. That's one of the squares. Oh my goodness. I can't operate under these conditions. I love you, but I need to see what I'm writing. Okay, this is, oh, and I must write down repot and trellis, because I did that already and I get to check it off. Repot and trellis downstairs monstera. Okay. It's very messy because my sweet child here has interfered, but this is my list. Good old list. And I'm very excited to be like getting started with this. Well, much love to you. I will see you next time I get the chance to film for this. So it's been a few days and I finally have another window of opportunity during which I can take care of these monsteras. I really hope that I can get to as many of these things as I can, because I swear they're like haunting me. But what I'm gonna do today, I'm really nervous about. I'm so nervous. I think I'm going to propagate plants today, so I need to chop my big monstera that's in the attic. I don't think I'm going to chop it down completely, but just take a few decent cuts. And I'm also going to propagate my monstera albo. However, I do actually need to write down another task that I completely forgot to include, and I just remembered it this morning, and that is to address my variegated monstera adansonii. If you don't know the background of this plant, it was growing really, really well up the moss pole in my greenhouse cabinet for a long time. I ended up taking a top cut from my friend, but then the leaves that came in after that were all white, and it gave me like 7 white leaves in a row, and I finally decided to just chop all of them off. And I took a few more cuttings, and I was really hoping that those cuttings would turn out. I'm not so sure about them, but the growth point that activated from the point where I cut the plant actually looks pretty good. I just want to take a look at the root system. I might disassemble the pole and kind of start it over. It just like doesn't look great. Like it's gonna need some pampering. It also has a little bit of a mealybug infestation. It's a very small infestation, but it's an infestation nonetheless. Mealybugs tend to pop up every so often, and I want to treat it for that. So really quick, I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it. Although I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to it today. Ugh. I think all I have time to do right this moment is to propagate those 2 plants, but let's do it. Okay. I suppose I have to just get the first order of business over with. This is my monstera albo. I don't remember what I said last time. I think I mentioned that it was ravaged by thrips and looks a little bit unsightly now. I just want to give it the best chance it has, and I think I'm not feeling good about this. I don't want to touch this plant. I'm really honestly nervous and afraid, but I guess it's already been through thrips. It's already been through like the worst, and yeah, it's just super damaged and unwell. I don't think I have the guts to chop the entire plant up and, you know, disrupt the root system and everything that's going on here. But I think that I will take a top cut, hope and pray that it roots, and maybe from that top cut I would start a new plant up a moss pole. And once that gets going and I feel like I am more secure, I might be willing to chop the rest of this plant up and kind of go from there. But I definitely don't want to take multiple cuts and then risk none of them rooting, because that would be the worst case scenario. But regardless, I do feel like we have a pretty long road of recovery ahead of us with this plant, and I'm buckling in for the ride. I'm in it for the long haul. I love this plant, but I just know that it's going to take some time before it is what it used to be, I guess. I think I'm going to propagate it in sphagnum moss because that's my favorite medium. And I think I'm going to chop it here since there's already an aerial root right here. And so there will be 2 leaves as a part of the cut. I'm going to wash these scissors off really fast. Again, I'm being a little bit more cautious. All right, shears have been sanitized. Oh, I need to take a deep breath. Oh, okay. Every time I propagate like a plant that I like a lot and that I have never propagated before, because I've never propagated monstera albo, I get like that little flutter of like, oh, what am I doing? And then yeah, I have some damp sphagnum moss here already. I'm trying to decide whether I want to squeeze out more moisture, but I think this will be fine. There are drainage holes in this clear plastic pot that I'm using, but I'm just sticking it in this ceramic cover pot because I don't know, why not? Even though it's propagating, I think that I am still going to display this somewhere. So I may as well make it look kind of cute. Oh, should I let this callus over? I think I'm actually gonna let this callus over for a second. I like never do that, but again, I'm operating at maximum cautiousness. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this here and let's chat for a minute while I do that. I've been trying to think of creative ways to mitigate the plant burnout feeling, especially in the wintertime. It's so dark. I feel like my plants aren't growing as much as I normally do, which like that's to be expected. It's wintertime, there's not as much sunlight, it's not warm and humid. And this winter has been particularly cold here in Ohio. We've had snow for like 2 straight weeks. It's actually been kind of crazy. Like this is the snowiest winter I've ever experienced in my 5 years of living here. And I mean, I'll take it. I love the snow. I think it's great, but I think that, I don't know, it's been hard on my plants because it's just been so cold and dark. And in turn, that's been hard on me to feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm more prone to plant burnout if many of my plants are not doing well. But I've been enjoying this approach where I'm addressing a specific genus and I'm not doing it all in the same day. I'm like spreading it out over time, because in the past, I would tend to save up all of my plant chores, make a really big video about it, and I would literally be spending an entire weekend or like an entire day just dedicated to getting all of these plant chores done. And yes, I did feel really accomplished in the end, but after doing, I don't know, 15 plant repots in a row and dealing with a bunch of moss poles and watering all of my plants, I don't know, a lot of that was just like physical labor that made me so burnt out and exhausted by the end of the day. And then I felt like I had to wait until I had a full entire day to dedicate to my plants, because, you know, the one nice part to it is that I only had to set up and clean up once, set up my film equipment once, all of that, in addition to obviously like all of the things that you need when you take care of plants. And plant care and plant chores can be quite messy. But then I would end up procrastinating or delaying, or sometimes it wasn't even procrastination. It was just like, I don't have a big chunk of my day to dedicate to doing all these plant chores at once. But so far with this, I've been spreading it out a lot. I've only been picking like 1 or 2 tasks to do each day. So today we're propagating 2 things, like 2 plants. That's very doable. Maybe in a few days, I'll just handle my monstera esqueleto. In a few days, I'll only handle my Silta picana. In a few days, I'll only do the Adansonia, you know, that sort of thing. So, and if I feel like I want to do more, if I have extra time, I will. But this might be the key to helping me not feel so burnt out on my plants. Because if you save it all up to do in a single day, by the end of it, you feel more exhausted than rejuvenated. But if I do just a little bit each day, I just feel like that's a little bit less overwhelming in the long run. Even though, yes, I do need to clean more, I guess, like there's more time in that, which stinks. But at the same time, I feel like that's an easier way to enjoy my plants than doing it in a very daunting, overwhelming way. And then you're just like gradually chipping away at it. I think that might be my new approach, even with these plant chores videos. There may still be like full days of plant chores in my future, but we'll see how this works. I took a quick little break to eat some lunch, get some nutrition. Here's your reminder, if you need to eat something or drink something, stay hydrated, stay nourished. Why could I not remember that word? Dear Lord. Okay, anyway, nourished. Yes, stay hydrated, stay nourished. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. My brain was trying to say like nutriented, and that is not the word. It's been enough time. This is calloused over. You can't see that, but I'm just gonna stick it in here. Hope and pray, guys. Oh, I'm making a mess. I did buy a new potting mat, but it's not here yet. I ordered it off of Etsy along with a little pot. So if it shows up in time, I'll show it to you, but I don't know that that's gonna be the case. It might take a couple of weeks because I just ordered it today. I wanna finish this video by the end of the week if I can, so. Well, there it is. Actually, that's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not upset at the way that that looks. This is the end result of my chopped mama plant, which looks, it's a little weird the way that it's growing, but it's fine. We're gonna leave that be. I'm gonna put it back in the same spot. And this one, I might try to find a new, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Maybe I'll just keep it in that same room. I want it to get decent light. I know you can kind of get away with lower light for propagations. Do I have room in my cabinet? Sorry, I'm verbally processing. I don't know where I'm gonna put this because I want it to have high humidity, but it won't fit in my proc box, I don't think. And I don't think I have room in my cabinet. Stand by. I might end up moving this around a bit, but at least it's done. All right, here's my cute little monstera in the corner here. You can't see the whole thing. Yeah, some of the leaves are looking worse for wear. They're a little bit limp. And like this leaf down here, I think got cold damage or something. Here, I'm just gonna chop it off and then I'll show you. Yeah, this leaf down here, it does not look good at all. And then the rest of this, well, I might take a couple of top cuts and just see what happens. It's a little bit sad because I do kind of like how it looks here, but it's also not my dream monstera either. And I just want to experiment. I want to experiment with my plants and figure out the way that I want to grow them. So I don't like the way that this is now, and I don't think that there's any way that I can salvage it from this point to being what I want. You know, like I feel like I need to start it over. So I'm gonna start it over and see what happens. So there is a new leaf up here, and I'm a little bit sad to have to propagate it with the new leaf going, but it's okay. It'll be fine. This is the top cut of this vine. Oof, okay. And honestly, like this leaf is not, I don't like how that looks. And it's really long. Look at that petiole. It's so absurdly long. Probably because it wants more light or something. Yeah, and like I don't like this leaf either. Yeah, a lot of these leaves are just not looking great, especially, yeah, the most recent ones are not looking great. So this one will be not too bad. Okay, I just chopped this one. That's not horrible. You get to see my messy attic. This is like our AC unit because it gets really hot up here in the summertime. Let's see. I don't like this leaf in general. Do I just want to chop it off completely? I think I'm going to. Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Like, I just don't want this. I'm tossing it. Bye. Same for this one. I don't like it. Bye. I'm ruthless. I'm trying to decide. So this leaf, I like. I'm trying to decide if I want to chop that one and then maybe end there. Oof. Okay, here we go. So I've got this leaf, and this leaf, which if all three of these root and are okay, that will make like a good start to a new plant. And I have this vase of water and I'm just gonna stick them in here and water propagate it. I kind of wish that I had a deeper vase, but alas. Maybe I can try to thrift one. This might just be a stand-in for now. Yeah, I mean, that definitely looks a little bit silly. It's functional, but I might try to thrift a taller vase for that at some point. or I might just live with it, and I haven't decided where I want to put it yet, but I feel like I'm not used to propagating plants with such big leaves. Okay, sir, you're making me nervous. I don't want you to knock it down. Sometimes it's like, ugh. On the one hand, it could look really cool and really sculptural if you propagate a monstera leaf and you have like the perfect vessel and spot for it. I don't think that's the case for me right now. Right now, we're purely functional. That's not that cute. Yay, we're getting things done. We're knocking things out. But the next thing that I'm going to do, oh my goodness, sir, do you hear him purring? He's going nuts right now. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do right now, I think, is maybe write for a little bit. I mean, my writing desk is right here, so I may as well. If you don't know, I'm actually writing a book. I don't know if it's ever going to get published or if we're going to go anywhere, but I'm well over halfway. It's a fantasy novel. And actually, I don't think I've mentioned this on any of my videos yet. Okay, sir, you're having an affair with my hand. What are you doing? I don't think I've mentioned this in any of my videos yet, but I started another YouTube channel and I'm still kind of figuring out like what the balance is going to look like for that, because obviously I want to continue being consistent and dedicated and making videos for both of my channels. And that new YouTube channel is specifically centered around books and writing. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, feel free to check it out. I will leave the links to it in the description. Maybe I'll have a card. It's called Write with Joy. So I had Sprouts with Joy with this channel, and now I have Write with Joy. So yeah, that was a big step. I've been wanting to do that for nearly a year because books and writing are a huge facet of my life. Honestly, one of my long-term goals, like my dream since I was a little girl, was to be a published author, and I love writing. That's a huge part of my soul. And you know, I took like a 5-year break from writing and I'm ready to dive back into it. So I'm just kind of documenting my writing journey and discussing craft and books and anything else writing related on that channel. So again, you don't have to check it out if you're not interested. Like, I don't want you to just like subscribe and then never watch any of the content. But if you want to show support or if you are genuinely interested in that topic, I also have that. So we can vibe over there too. But anyway, I am going to do some writing now, and maybe in a few days we'll tackle the next task. Okay, today is absolutely one of those days where I needed that second coffee to get through it. It's been an overall okay day, but it's just been a little bit overstimulating for me. So I'm ready to just sit here with my plants and get some stuff done. Oh, I forgot my notebook. I gotta run up and get it. But before I do, I kind of hesitated showing you because I'm just really sad about it. And it's like 2% embarrassing, I guess, maybe. But I shouldn't be embarrassed. This is just life. So I recently did some work with my Subabu pothos, and it was doing so well. I repotted it when I brought it in because it was outside all summer. Well, this is what it looks like as of this morning. Here, let's give you a nice up-close look. I'm like unreasonably bummed about this, guys. Like, and Subabu pothos is pretty accessible. I can probably go to the store and just pick up a new one. I could chop this one up into wet sticks and make a new plant, or just chop it all the way down and it'll grow back. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I liked it where it was at, and I'm just sort of like grieving it a little bit. And if you want to know what happened, okay, here, let me tell you what happened. So my kids, obviously they've grown up around plants. They know to not touch my plants. They very, very, very rarely touch my plants, if ever. And actually the one culprit, the one child that has ever laid a hand on my plants has been my daughter. She's the older one. She's 4 years old. Sometimes she likes to play with her stuffed animals with the plants, and like occasionally she's knocked one down. down or pulled a leaf or two off, whatever. Okay, fine, we live with it. My son has genuinely, like, he's 2, he's genuinely never showed any interest in my plants at all, like not even curious about them. It's like he's blind to them completely. So maybe I just like got a little bit comfortable. I don't know. I don't have a lot of plants within arm's reach of my children, but this one just so happened to technically be, you know, like elevated, but he could reach it. And as you do, I didn't have eyes on him for 5 minutes. It happened so fast. And when I came back into the room, every single leaf was plucked off of my sea blue. That's that. But I'm just here. I'm just sharing life with you guys. This stuff happens. If you have children, or young children in particular, you know. But I am trying to decide like what I want to do. I don't know if I want to wait for it to grow back. I mean, I'm gonna have to chop it up at some point. I don't really have the bandwidth to do that today. I do want to remain focused on my monstera related chores, but it just like adds another thing to my bucket of things I need to do. I'm honestly halfway tempted to just go out and buy a new sea blue pothos. I don't know. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you try to revive it? Would you chop it up completely? Would you buy a new one and throw this one out? Or would you keep both and like eventually merge them? I don't know. Let me know because I don't really know what I want to do. I haven't processed it quite enough yet, but it's okay. 1 second. I need to go fetch my notebook, and because I can't remember anything anymore ever. So as far as our options go, what do I want to do? Today, I only want to do something that I feel like is going to give me energy, not take energy away from me. Setting those boundaries because again, like as you have probably gathered, today has been a lot. So these are my options, okay? Repot my Thai constellation, make over my monstera siltepecana, which would involve like properly chopping up the plant potentially, or I do have some propagations I could pot up with it, probably put it up a pole. I don't know. I feel like that one's gonna be really involved. My monstera esqueleto. I think you guys already know what I'm gonna pick. I need to pot that up and put it on a moss pole. A makeover and pesterment for my variegated Adansonii. I did already bring up like sphagnum moss and soil and a pole because I figured 3 out of 4 of these, like I figured some of them might involve that. I think I'm gonna go for the monstera esqueleto now that I'm like looking at all of it because that one seems the nicest to me to work on. It's the most exciting. It's the plant that I'm most excited about of all of these, I think. And we'll see how long this takes me, but I might need to finish up this video after I'm done with this chore that I picked today because I need to have enough time to edit this video and put it up. I've been filming it for like a week and a half and it's been nice to have a nice slow steady video that I've been filming, but the downside to that is that I need to actually like post this video, which by the way, I've generally been trying to post my videos on Mondays, try for once a week, but sometimes I have to take like a week break here and there. So just so that that's on your radar, that's what I've been currently trying to do. I hope it's picking up on his purring because it's the sweetest thing ever. I ordered that potting mat. I don't know if I told you that. I ordered it off of Etsy, but unfortunately it's not here yet. So I'm gonna have to make do again without the potting mat. That's another reason why I don't want to like repot the Thai constellation because I feel like that is gonna be super messy. Esqueleto is probably gonna be a little bit more manageable because it's a propagation that I am potting up. I am pulling out of my prop box my monstera esqueleto that I got from my dear friend Natalie. I'm checking it over because it was originally close to where the thrips were. I never did find any thrips on it, but it has some aerial roots right here. And I believe that this was rooted in fluval stratum. And I do see some roots. I'm not entirely sure like how well rooted it is. I'm just going to assume that it's ready because it's been here since October. And this is one of the pots I showed you one of the last times I filmed, and I think I'm gonna try to use it. Might be too big of a pot, but I guess we'll find out. Also from my friend Natalie is one of her makeshift moss poles that I'm going to attempt to assemble. I think I know how to do it, but I don't know. I guess maybe I should start by trying to assemble the moss pole. She sent me, it's like a long plastic sheet that's just one, I mean, it's gonna be one long moss pole. It's very ambitious, using a moss pole for the plant that you want, not the plant that you have type of deal. So, and then these plastic pieces have notches in them. So it looks like you just put them in a circle like that. I'm assuming that's how it goes. We're gonna try it. Okay, the experience of assembling this was quite frankly really nice, so thank you very much, Natalie. I just so appreciate that I did not have to deal with hole punching hard plastic, which is what I normally have to do when I make my own moss poles or like lazy poles that I have. So this is nice. This is truly lazy. I love it. I'm gonna set this aside now that it's assembled. All right, next, we're gonna see what type of root system this has. I really genuinely hope that it looks good. I'm just dumping the rest of the fluval stratum in here. I think that's what this is. I've never actually really used it before, other than what Natalie has sent me. I'm just gonna try to gently coax everything off. So the root system is really, I mean, it's there, and I think it'll work, but it is really quite small. So I don't know that I feel extremely comfortable using the pot that I was intending to use. This is what, a 5-inch pot? And that's gonna be a little bit too much. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see if I can find, I mean, this pot I would use, except it does not have a drainage hole. So I'm gonna run down and I'm gonna see if I can find a good pot. Okay, I managed to find a solution that is not perfectly ideal, but it works. I found this terrazzo cash po that I have not used in quite a bit, but I honestly think it's super cute. Although the only pot that I could find in my collection that's like a plastic pot with holes was this one that like fits in this one, because I have other sizes, but they were either like too big or too small, and this one fit this one. So I'm like, okay, even though the lip is like above it, it'll just have to do. It's not the biggest deal in the world. It'll kind of blend in with the moss pole and everything going on, is my hope. But really, I've found that with moss poles, it's generally a good idea if you can, especially if it's going to be an extra long one. You know, they can get really top heavy. So you want to have a pretty heavy pot to weigh it down. I suppose I could have used this one too, but I wanted to use the terrazzo. I just haven't used it in forever. I'm going to try to be careful so that I don't spill soil everywhere if I can avoid it. I guess the nice part is, since it already has aerial roots, it'll kind of go right into the moss pole. Dang it. It's been forever since I've potted anything with a moss pole, it feels like. So sorry, I'm missing some steps here. I do believe I am supposed to kind of put the pole in first. It's kind of nice that these slide up and down, these little plastic pieces, so they're more easily maneuverable. I think I'm gonna pot it up kind of inside the pole a little bit maybe, and I'll still have room to grow, but I'm gonna need to order more soil amendments really soon here. Okay, so the first part of the moss pole is actually filled with soil. It's kind of an extension of what I got going on with the pot. Now I've got moss to add in there. Oh my gosh. Okay, this moss actually smells really good. What does it smell like? I don't know. It just smells really fresh to me. Some sphagnum moss smells awful, and I can't get behind that. But this brand that I get, it's this New Zealand brand. I don't know if it's technically better than other sphagnum moss brands. I think it is a little bit more expensive, but the strands, like the fibers, are really long, and it actually smells really fresh and good. So that's my personal preference. I do have a link below if you're interested in just looking at what I use. I think everyone just kind of has their own preference when it comes to sphagnum moss, but sometimes people do ask me, like, what brand do you get? Because there's a lot out there. You could even get it locally, I'm sure, but that's what I use. All right. And I will add more moss as it grows. Okay, but here's the plant. Hopefully it'll be happy with me. Oh my goodness. I want this esqueleto to grow and be so stunningly gorgeous. Please, please. Oh my goodness. I'll have to decide where to put this plant too. I might have to move some plants around to accommodate it, especially since it does have such a long pole to begin with. But I'm genuinely so excited about this. And thank you so much, Natalie, again, for sending me this plant and the plant tray and the moss pole to go with it. But yeah, here, take one last look at it. Okay, that's really fun. Oh my goodness. I'll have to water that plant in a second here, but I'm gonna check off on my list. That was really messed up because I'm like doing it backwards from myself. There, that's maybe a little bit better. But okay, we have 3 more to do on this list, but as I mentioned earlier, I just don't think that I have time to do all of them for this video, so I will have to do them in the future, in a future video. I don't know if it will be specific to monstera like this one was, but in general though, I feel like I made a lot of headway with this genus. Yay! I got so many things done that frankly I've been procrastinating for a really long time. So I really appreciate you joining me on this journey. If you like this video, you like plant chores, that sort of thing, and if you're new to my channel, I have an entire playlist dedicated to plant chores and videos kind of like this and just chatty, sitting down, working with plants. So if you want to check that out, please do. I will put it in the cards or link it in the description or something. And yeah, if you like this video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. All those things are super helpful for my channel. And I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.